Every weekday morning, millions of people wake up, get dressed, commute to a building, sit down at a desk for 8 hours, and then go home. And if you ask any of them what they did that day, most of them will say, not much really. Which is interesting because they just spent the majority of their waking hours doing it. At some point, someone decided that the best way to get work done was to stop doing work and talk about doing work instead. This is called a meeting. And the thing about meetings is that they are not actually for making decisions. They're for making people feel like decisions are being made. Which sounds similar, but is completely different, and nobody ever points this out. The average office worker spends about a third of their working week in meetings, which means if you work in an office for 40 years, you will have spent roughly 13 of those years sitting in a room while someone reads a PowerPoint out loud to a group of people who can all read. There is always a slide with a Steve Jobs quote on it. Nobody knows why, it just appears, every time. Before any of this happens, though, you have to get the job first, which involves an interview, which is its own strange performance. They ask you why you want to work there, and you cannot, under any circumstances, say, I need money and this seems fine. Even though that is true for you, and they know it is true for you, and you know they know. So instead, you say something about being really passionate about the industry and looking for somewhere you can grow. And they write that down, and everyone moves on. Once you are in, you get a laptop and a lanyard and a job title. The job title does not mean anything. Neither does anyone else's. There is a person out there right now whose official title is Chief Evangelist at a completely normal software company, which implies there are evangelists below them, which implies there are junior evangelists, which implies that somewhere, someone is being performance managed on their enthusiasm. There are quarterly reviews about this. The way communication works in an office is you send an email, someone replies asking if you are free for a quick call to discuss the email. You have the call, someone sends a follow-up email summarizing the call, and it does not match what you remember even though you were both there. And then you reply saying, thanks for the recap, just one small thing, and now there is another call. The average office email chain is 7 replies long and contains less information than the original email. Someone will describe a spreadsheet that has not been opened since February as a live document. A meeting will be scheduled to align on the agenda for next week's meeting. You will be CC'd on an email that has nothing to do with you, and you will remain on that thread for the rest of your natural life. Once a year, the company spends a significant amount of money taking everyone somewhere slightly nicer than the office to do team-building activities. The stated goal is to build trust and collaboration. The implied admission is that 8 months of sitting 10 feet apart from each other was not enough to do that. There is always an activity where you build something out of spaghetti and marshmallows, and it gets weirdly competitive. You take it completely seriously because you are not losing to the finance team. The next morning, you are back at your desk, and the person you just built a spaghetti bridge with is sending you a passive-aggressive email about the Q3 report. $100,000 well spent. Every few months, leadership sends an all-staff email that says the company is evolving to better position itself for the opportunities ahead. Nobody knows what this means. Leadership does not know what this means. The email took 3 weeks and 4 rounds of approval to write and contains less information than if they had said nothing. You reply with, thanks for the update, and everyone moves on. And then on Monday morning, everyone comes back, gets dressed, goes and sits in the building, speaks in full sentences that mean nothing to each other, schedules meetings about the meetings, and somewhere a junior evangelist is preparing for his quarterly review. Because that is just what you do.